Hey, this is Chris. Keeping it real, facts over fear. How you doing this morning? It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in North Carolina. It's probably about 60 degrees out. Bright sunshiny day. So it's a good day to go out and have some fun outside, isn't it? So here is the latest herd immunity chart for North Carolina on 4/17/2021. Haven't done one of these in a couple weeks because there hasn't been much to talk about. It's pretty much the same. Not the same old, but nothing really stands out except for the fact if we look down here at the confirmed case graph, we do see a leveling out of cases. That level on a 14-day rolling average is approximately 1,750 cases a day, so that's kind of an odd little thing. I really expected those case numbers to continue to go down, especially in the face of all these people getting vaccinated. We now have roughly 2.64 million people vaccinated in North Carolina, and that's the cumulative effects of the first shot and the second shot. So counts both of those groups of people. So let's get on to the notes. The formula is now, I changed it because I realized I was making a mistake in counting people twice. So I've corrected that. The formula is now the number of people who've had the 2-dose vaccine and taking the number of people who've had the 1-dose vaccine and subtracting the number of those with 2-dose vaccines and then multiplying that number by 70%. Before I was taking the 1-dose vaccine and multiplying it by 70%, so you can see how my numbers were skewed higher. And so I was thinking about that the other day and realized I made a mistake. So I'm sorry about that. And of course, plus the number of confirmed cases, which I thought would pretty much have gone away by now, but they have not. Still running about 1,750 a day. North Carolina is 30% vaxxed, and that includes all ages, even though all ages are not being given the vaccine. But we have a population of approximately 10.5 million people in North Carolina, and approximately 3.6 billion people have gotten the vaccine, or at least one shot of the vaccine. I've not included the vaccine figures from the federal vaccine program because the numbers are so small. It really doesn't make any difference to the statistical analysis. If anything, it just means that the herd immunity date might be pushed left a few days. So like I mentioned before, the confirmed cases have stopped falling and are hovering around 1,750 per day. Interesting statistic, the vaccination average per day since December 14th, 2020, which was when vaccines were first rolled out in North Carolina. We've averaged 22,000 effective vaccines a day since then. That's 4 months, almost to the day actually. The vaccine average per day since February 14th, 2021, which is 60 days ago, give or take, is about 32,000 a day. So you can see that the vaccine effort is really ramped up in North Carolina. And so the vaccination program is now open to everyone. Everyone who's 16 or older, I believe, is the age. Excuse me, can get a vaccine if they so desire. Why are confirmed cases on the rise? Some ideas here. Schools are at least partially open. I will never believe that people who are in school who are under the age of 18 somehow are magically protected against COVID-19, nor do they carry it, nor do they spread it. I think that's one of the more ridiculous statements I've ever heard. And so I think that has a lot to do with it because schools are opening up. Maybe not completely, but they are here in Granville County, and I think in Charlotte and Raleigh they are open. People still have the option to stay and learn at home, but they are open. The second reason is not nearly as many asymptomatic cases as we once thought. My last video touched on that. There was this thought towards the beginning of the pandemic, like in last March, not this past March, but March before last, and then on into the summer and even on into the fall, where health authorities, and I'm just going to point out the CDC is a main source of information on that, who indicated that the number of unconfirmed cases could be as high as 10 times the number of confirmed cases. Obviously that's not true, and obviously it's not even close to that, because otherwise we would not have the number of confirmed cases still hovering around 1,750 a day, even though there's 30% less, 30% fewer people available to be spreading the disease, to be spreading the virus. So that obviously was I don't know where they got their data from. I mentioned that in the video too, so I'm not going to belabor the point. Number 3, masks. People think masks protect them. They don't. But I think it gives them a feeling of, well, if I take my mask, I can do anything I want, and of course then they do. And so the virus spreads because I heard somebody give an anecdote, and he said that or an analogy, excuse me, that trying to stop a COVID virus with a cloth mask is like trying to stop a mosquito with a chain link fence. Now, I don't know if that scale is appropriate, but I think that the point is well taken, that the particles that the COVID-19 virus travels on are, well, suffice to say, microscopic. And you put that microscopic object up next to a cloth barrier that's not woven particularly tightly. These things get out, and of course masks do not conform to the wearer's face, so there's always air getting out. Ask yourself, how about let's just reason together for a minute. When you take your mask off, is it wet? If it is, it's catching something. If it's not, it's not. I wear my mask. Of course, I don't wear it for very long because I hate wearing one. But my mask is never even damp when I take it off. And it just shows you that the particles are too small to be caught by the mask. And number 4, people are truly tired of this pandemic. I know I've said this before. I thought, well, we got into last fall and everybody was tired of it. And we got through Christmas and everyone's tired of it. I think everyone is just sick and tired of it, and they just don't care anymore. And this just goes back to my whole idea that people are going to do what people are going to do, and the things that are mandated by the government really have no effect on what's going on. And I think as a society, most people are, and of course there are people who want to live a life of fear, and so they're going to be fearful until the government says it's okay to do something. But most people are like, I'm going to go do what I want to do, and that's just the way it's going to be. The outlook, the confirmed cases will remain steady until more effects are felt from the ever-increasing vaccinations. I don't really expect that number to go down until we reach a significant and a number of vaccinations, which will happen in a couple months. Now we'll start to see it, but it won't. I don't think it's going to just drop like a rock like I used to think it was going to. Herd immunity date is now approximately July 4, 2021. Deaths will remain low as most of the vulnerable people in our population have either died or they've gotten the virus and recovered, or they've been vaccinated. These are the people we should have been taking care of the whole time, and this is the exact group of people we totally ignored at the beginning of this pandemic. And everyone who works in a health department anywhere, and any leader of any state who did not do the proper thing ought to be ashamed of themselves. And some people, I think, have committed outright felonies in their handling of that situation, and the governor of New York State comes to mind. All right, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do, and we'll see you on the next fact-filled video.